But that's inspired me to get on with doing some work in the garden, and this tree has been on the bench for several years, really recovering its health and getting it back to a vigorous state, but I think it's ready now for some work. This tree has a really big problem, which, as you can probably see, is this massive straight piece here, which has no taper in it whatsoever, and also is way too long for the tree. Toyed with the idea of doing it as a cascade, but it's just, again, however you try and do it, it's just a bit too long and a bit too obvious. So I've decided to go a bit more informal upright, but what I need to do is squash it down and make a much more powerful squat looking tree in keeping with the size of the trunk, and obviously drawing your eye to this piece here where the bark is lovely, the curves are nice, we'll have some nice dead wood here, just to give the tree that bit of character and that nice squat powerful look. So what I'm going to do, or the intention is anyway, to effectively hollow out some of this area here, down this side, away from the live veins, because obviously I've got a live branch here which I probably won't use because it's a little bit too high up. I'm hoping to utilise this one and this one. I'm keeping this one on for now just to see where we go once I've got it to a reasonable position. So yes, I'm going to hollow this out, support it with some heavy duty wires, raffia, and then bend with a tourniquet to get this as low down to here as I possibly can, obviously without snapping it. So that's going to be a long process, so I'm going to crack on with that now. I'll video it in time lapse. If I get to an interesting part I might stop and come back to it for you, but otherwise here we go. So that's the back part hollowed out here, as you can see in the little strip of video there. So I'm going to pack that with some heavy wire. I could only find 4mm, so unfortunately I was hoping I had some 6 or something, but so I'm going to put a whole length of strands of 4mm in there to help support the bend, so it doesn't kink in one place. The idea is that we'll get a nice smooth curve and spread out the stress over this portion of this trunk, rather than it bending in a particular place. Because it's got a curve in it already, I just want to continue that curve and try and get it down a bit as well. So that's the next bit. So we'll pack it, we'll raffia it, then I'm going to have a go at tidying up some of these bits of dead wood on the tree here. Obviously this would be a rough cut because it's the first styling, but just to get a bit of shape in them, and in the case of, there's one at the back here which is just massive, but it will be very useful as an anchor for the bend. So I'm just going to tidy up the ends of it a bit and leave the bulk of it in place for now. Obviously later on we can refine that and get that looking a bit more, well, get it looking a bit nicer. So that's it for now. We'll go back on to time lapse and get on with the next bit. Due to the size of this gin at the back, a piece of dead wood, I just decided to take it off flush for now. I need it as an anchor for the big bend, but it doesn't really add anything to the design, because from the front of the tree it's invisible. So for now it will just stay as a stump, and I'll obviously tidy that up as and when the major tourniquet comes off. Okay, so that's hollowed out. Deadwood, obviously this is just a clean up, plenty of detail work to go on there later. For now, just want to get it roughly in shape, and we'll go back to that another time. Stuffed this with 4mm wire now, so we have about half a dozen strands in there ready to go. So I'm just going to raffia, put some screws in, both to this lump at the back here up on the trunk here, and then we'll get bending, see how we go. And I've got to have a bit of a tidy up as well. As you can see, I look a bit like a sawdust snowman. Right, moving on. Okay, so here we go. We've got raffia applied. We've got 3 extra runs of 4mm. There's 4mm inside as well. A couple of runs of 2mm copper here just from the tourniquet. I've got a screw at the back here, another one here. Good purchase. So we're all set for the big bend. We'll see how that goes. Okay, so now I've got the main bend done in the trunk, which went pretty well, really. This bit here is still straighter than I'd like, but not much we can do about that. So what we're going to go from here is, I think we can probably keep this top branch, which is I'm really pleased about, because that will give a bit more depth to the tree. So the idea is this one's going to come up and forward to create the apex. This branch will come back under itself, sit underneath, so this will be a character branch on this side and some back branching. This one is already split into 2, so we'll have one pad down here helping to cover over the bulk of this trunk. I'll also do a bit more on that, obviously, when it's de-raffioed and it's set. Perhaps take some bark off and make some shari to help take the weight out of the trunk. But for now, obviously, it's got to stay how it is. So this one will be split front and back. This one over here, this one apex. So sounds very easy if I say it quickly. So we'll see how that goes. So that's the end of day 1. If anybody was paying attention earlier, they'll realise that in the process of doing this, we've slightly changed the design. This branch, which I was hoping to put over here, actually, once we've done the big bend, settled much better over that side. And it meant that I could use this top branch here to bring around this side and potentially to drop in a back branch here. So all in all, that worked out pretty well. Looks like a bit of industrial engineering, but we'll get on back on it tomorrow, wire it properly and get styling. Okay, welcome to day 2. If you can hear some rattling in the background, the Welsh weather's decided to revert to type and it's peeing it down. So there you go. Right, so on to, I'm going to clean up the foliage, take off all these longer needles to get some nice neat florets at the end so I can wire easy. Get all the wiring done and the final styling. So here we go, back to time lapse. So we've got this side of the tree basically in position now. There's a few branches up here that I think probably might be useful as part of the apex, so I'm not going to style them yet, we'll leave them. So I'm going to get on and wire the apex and then we can get the shape of that sorted out. And obviously see which one of these we need, because we also need to cover up, obviously got a bit of a vertical branch there, so we need to get some foliage in there to mask that up a little bit. So yeah, so on to wiring the top. So 2 days later, here we have the final result. Pretty pleased with the way the tree worked out. Obviously there's a few things that are going to need to be worked on in the future. A lot of development work to do on the foliage and obviously to clean up some of the dead wood. And eventually, once the bend here is taken, we'll do a bit of dead wood work and hopefully the shari that we've carved anyway to hollow out the trunk of the tree will be an interesting feature. That's basically it. So I'm hoping that this is the first step on its road to being a bonsai. And I know quite often people do these videos and you see some massive bend or whatever and you never see the tree again. So I promise, whatever happens, I'll do regular updates on this tree so you can see its development. Because I'm certain that it will be fine.
it's going to recover from this and go from strength to strength. But this is its first step on its bonsai journey, nowhere near the end, and it's quite likely to outlive me. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, click like, click subscribe. If you're interested in courses at the school or online, visit the website at seikatsubonsaischool.co.uk, or drop me a message. I'd be pleased to hear from you. All the best.